Hello, welcome to our channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. Hello, this is Dr. Mount. Anyway, you are the people that make the world go round. You are some of the richest people in the world. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over something. You are the people that make things happen. Prepare for a government shutdown. This one may actually occur. We have been distracted in the news by government shutdown, government shutdown, government shutdown. So many times we're numb to it. It's not news anymore. Always at the last minute, Congress pulls something out of their rear. President Trump, President Biden always capitulate and they sign it. But this time it may be real. A little note from the people who I advertise with. I have been using Get the Tea for a very long time, and I'm very pleased with the products. And the vitamin A change to vision support. It's a completely different formula. And I'm sorry I used the term vitamin A, but this has a lot of vitamin A in it and zinc to help the vitamin A, which a lot of us don't get enough of. And the cordyceps mushrooms, it was the eighth element. It changed to the cordyceps mushrooms, which contain resveratrol, which reversed aging in mice. So combined with yesterday's product and this product, this is a very powerful show. For bringing to you very powerful products that actually work. You might want to rewatch yesterday's video. I know it's censored, which is so that's getthetea.com, which brings us to the next point, and that is every time we try to save President Trump's life in the last, since the beginning of time, we get censored. And every time we try to do it, we get censored more and more. That little debacle with Air Force One, we got heavily censored. Somebody in the FBI and CIA and Secret Service who work in the White House want Trump dead. And it's obvious because when I email something as a warning to Trump to the White House, my hits go down even more. So somebody in the White House, working in the White House, who reads those emails is connected to somebody who's censoring us on the internet. I know President Trump passed an executive order that says you can't censor anybody. I know YouTube is funded by you and I, so it's subject to the First Amendment. I know Jim Jordan just worked out a deal with Google, but they lied. He's a liar. Jim Jordan is a liar. They're still censoring us. Every time we talk about a threat to Trump's life, our hits go down. Somebody at Google and in YouTube censor us. They want Trump dead. And will somebody pray that Trump gets the news? Because if this continues, there's no sense with us continuing because those who want Trump dead will win. So take action. Notify the real president. Not the 5'7" or the 5'9", but the 6'3" president. It's somebody in the White House who reads those emails, contacts somebody at Google and at YouTube, and censors me so the president has no idea that Air Force One is going to go down with him on it. So anyway, on to the news. We're going to go really fast. Columbia Bank, the FBI, the guys down on 72nd Street across from the graveyard in that unmarked building, before you make the left turn, that building decided to buy or have Columbia Bank merge with Umpqua Bank, and somebody put their fingers on the wrong buttons and somebody got busted. Columbia Bank changed to Umpqua Bank, went from an A- credit rating to a BBB- credit rating, and then now took the name Columbia Bank back, and we're going to find out how much other damage that they did to sell Umpqua Bank is reversed. I mean, they sold the retirement program. They screwed everybody at Columbia Bank illegally, and somebody busted him. And on to the news. Putin says we're at war with NATO. He's right. Van der Leyen, the demon, according to Lucifer Trust, the demon, Van der Leyen, who runs the European Union, says that we're going to start shooting down planes that fly over the Ukraine. That's a direct conflict. That is war with Russia. And might I mention, 35 countries agreed with Trump to stop importing Chinese and Russian imports and increase the tariffs to 100%. The other 193 refused to listen to Trump. He didn't obey God. Nobody's listening to him. Out of 193 countries, only 35 countries agreed with Trump. Hungary and Serbia didn't agree. And so there's a coup, and potential coup in Hungary and Serbia. Thank you, CIA. If you don't kick the FBI out of the embassies, you deserve the coup, Hungary, and you deserve the coup, Serbia. And on to the news. Trump has evicted 600,000 illegals in 8 months, and 1.4 million have gone home, because if they cut the welfare off here, like I went out with a gal from Russia, she says, when they cut the welfare off here, I'll just move back to the Ukraine and get Ukrainian welfare. A welfare rat is a welfare rat. If they don't get welfare here, they'll go home and get welfare in their country. That's why the other countries don't want them back. Out of 500,000 children, DHS welfare has found 25,000 out of 500,000 children that came across the border. The welfare department has found 25,000. The others went to human rituals. Anyway, huge NASA typhoon has killed hundreds in the Philippines. 150-mile-an-hour winds just wiped out parts of the Philippines, flattened them, went on to Hong Kong and into China. 2 million people were evacuated in China because of the hurricane. And the U.S. Department of Agriculture is paying out drought benefits to farmers in 49 out of 50 states. Wouldn't it just be cheaper to shut NASA down, and then we wouldn't have the droughts? To stop the 55th and 60th air wing from spraying? Put Hegseth in a room with me for 1 minute. Bring Hegseth to me, or bring me to Hegseth and put me in a room with him for 1 minute, and the spraying will stop. Because men don't put up with that BS. But apparently the president does. This doesn't cut it in my eyes. This is love. This is Satan. Hegseth, you come within 100 feet of me, and you'll be a scared puppy. Start shaking, you little coward. Oh, but you can stand in front of the military and scream and holler. But you can't stand before God, because you aren't with God. Anyway, wouldn't it be cheaper simply to stop the spraying, President Trump, and stop the satellites and HARP? And the genocide is still going on in the Congo. President Trump didn't stop the war between Rwanda and the Congo. Several African nations have requested UN recognition of the genocide the Muslims are doing in the Congo. They just go in and murder people, and then, of course, they extract the coltan for money. It's not about murdering Christians. It's about money. It's all about money. And Trump recognizes India and China as purchasing Russian oil, puts 100% tariff on their imports, and says China and Russia fund Russia's Ukrainian war. Well, that may be true. But they need oil, and nobody can supply it but Russia. So get off the soapbox, arrest the Colorado governor, tap the 10,000 oil wells they capped, or shut up, President Trump. Either provide or shut up. You don't have a say in this. They need oil. They're not going to convert to water power. They're not going to convert to static electricity. They're going to do oil, oil, oil. The oil companies have 20,000 mercenaries to murder people who make water-powered cars, water-powered motors. It ain't happening. So either put up or shut up, provide them with the oil, or be quiet. We got more oil off of Gull Island, Alaska, than you can shake a stick at. We could build 3 more pipelines from Prudhoe Bay down to Alaska, but we don't. We could arrest the governor of Colorado, get some balls, Trump, get some gonads, Trump. We could arrest the governor of Colorado and replant those 10,000 oil wells. But we're not gonna. Because the governors are not going to be arrested. Gavin Newsom is violating the First Amendment and about to sign something that says, if I think a post is hate, then we're going to fine the person who allows that post to go on for $1 million. That violates an executive order. Trump won't arrest the governor of California. He doesn't have the gonads. This is no arrest Trump. Why not? The people who are funding the terrorist agencies to kill him, like Southern Poverty Law Center, they shoot up the ICE complex, kill 2 illegal aliens and wound 1. They don't hit anybody from ICE. Funded by organizations like the Southern Poverty Law Center. The only way to cut off that Southern Poverty Law Center, since he is not going to do it, is not to sign the new budget. So as Hungary and Serbia refuse to cut off Russian oil, we've covered that. There's the CIA coup in Hungary and Serbia. But the EU still continues to import enormous amounts of oil, food, etc. from Russia, tens of billions of dollars a month. So Trump says if you want to stop the conflict with the Ukraine, stop importing goods from Russia. Well, NASA's destroying our food production here and in Australia. We can't provide food for the EU, so they have to import it from Russia. Because Trump's allowing NASA to kill and destroy our food crops. NASA and Hegseth, Department of War. So we can't put up. So we've got to shut up and let them import it. Trump says as long as you import goods from Russia, we ain't going to negotiate peace treaty anymore. Yeah, that's a heck of a way to get out of it. So, we're looking at complete government shutdown. Before we get into that, I promised a friend I would discuss the time bell and how it works. This is surrounded by coltan, one of the metals of coltan. The wiring is made out of coltan. This is the two bicycle wheels that go in opposite directions, filled with mercury, that create the anti-gravity propulsion system. And it propels itself like this, by tilting the two bicycle wheels. The man sits in the middle. The water-powered motor is here. It uses water and oxygen. It goes into this chamber. It freezes. It falls. There's a little fan. It falls down, creates more water, which goes into the generator, along with the air. And then they spin particles faster than the speed of light, beta minus particles, to go backwards or forward. Let's see. Beta minus takes you backwards. If you have the fiber optics going almost the speed of light, you go forward in time. Now imagine a large ship with the same philosophy, shaped like a cigar. Coltan on the outside, so you can go up into the astral plane. The planets are next to each other, and then the upper astral plane, because you can vibrate at 10 times or 40 times faster than 85 megahertz. And then you spin the particles faster than the speed of light. You're going backwards in time, so you can go 2 billion years backwards in time, bring a lot of supplies and a lot of people, and start the human civilization again. That's why we're finding 2 billion-year-old nuclear reactors and billion-year-old axe heads. Promised a friend I'd show that. And finally, if we get a massive government shutdown, the Department of War has its budget already established. Social Security for retirees has its budget already established. The VA disability payment has already had its budget established. Not everything is funded on the 1st of October. The VA is, yes, but they'll continue to pay the disability, and if they don't, it's a crime, but don't worry, Trump won't arrest you. So if we have a government shutdown, President Trump will be able to cut probably 2/3 of the departments. He's already warning Office of Management and Budget to prepare mass layoffs. Hopefully we get rid of about 80% of our government, and we pay the physically disabled veterans. We pay the physically disabled on Social Security and the older people on Social Security. Hopefully they don't get a 2% raise because inflation's 20%. And the CIA is keeping the price of homes going up, so home taxes are going up by buying homes, but home sales have plummeted. So they're pushing the older people out onto the streets to kill them. That's our government. We've been doing that for eons. That's why your mom and dad could buy 870 loaves of bread when they were on. So your grandpa could buy 870 loaves of bread on the average Social Security in 1960. But today you can only buy 150 loaves of bread. Yes, it's gone down in the last month. From 900 to 150. The people on Social Security have been squeezed and are going to be killed. And there's only 15 million of them when I was a kid, and there's 15 million of them now. But there's almost over 150 million of them collecting Social Security. So who are the other 135 million? You tell me. Social Security says it's refugees and illegal aliens. Why the heck is an illegal alien on Social Security? So the Democrats want the NGOs to support things like the Southern Poverty Law Center so they can support shooters and terrorists. Don't tell me they don't. I got briefed by our naval intelligence 30 years ago on the Southern Poverty Law Center supporting terrorism. I said, why don't we shut them down? Because the Democrats, the demons, won't allow the Southern Poverty Center to stop sucking off your taxpayer dollars. So Trump says no more money for these foundations that support people like the Southern Poverty Center. No more transgender drugs in schools. No more transgender operations on minors, but you can still do it at the VA. You're a girl, you want to be a boy, you don't want to use antipsychotic drugs, change your sex, the VA will treat you for anything you want. Oh, there's a splinter in my hand. I went to the VA with a splinter up, piece of wood up my rear that big. I had to stand up for 36 hours. Finally, I went to the post, and the guy went like that and pulled it out. The VA doesn't have surgeons capable of pulling out splinters. Not kidding. A board-certified surgeon refused to pull a splinter out of my rear. Why? Because she's part of the satanic cult. That's the VA. So, support satanic churches. They have to have that in the bill. We have to support those churches that support the destruction of America. And mass funding for big pharma. We've got to spray, you know what, in the air. We've got to spray the vegetables with you know what. They want to kill Americans. Mass funding of libtard universities. Oh yeah, that's a good one. $1 trillion to fund alien welfare and alien housing. $2 trillion to fund Medicare for illegal aliens. You can't get Medicare. We pay $900 a month for insurance, and they're still charging us for medical care. But an illegal is free because we have to pay for it. You have to pay for it. Men and women's sports. That would become the law in this new 1,000-page budget. Open borders. You have to reopen the borders and bring in at least 10 million illegals every year. No rural hospitals. They want to shut down all rural hospitals, like affirmative action shut down all logging. Good luck reviving a small community without reversing the consent decree, President Trump. And Social Security for older folks, again, shouldn't be touched, but the Democrats are trying to pass a bill to destroy Social Security for older people to kill more Americans. And VA physical disability should not be touched, but the Democrats are trying to pass a bill to kill disabled veterans. You think I'm kidding? And again, home sales have plummeted, but home sale prices go up because the CIA buys the home, forces the older people out of the homes, buys the home, and either tears it down or lets it go vacant and rot, or puts an illegal alien in it. They just give it to a minority or an illegal alien. Go to Salishan. 90% of the homes, 500 homes valued at $500,000 apiece, were given to illegal aliens. The other 10% were given to minorities on welfare. So the CIA builds them. Somebody builds them, they buy them, keep the value of the homes up, give them to somebody who's not working, and then you get screwed. It's what the CIA has done for decades now. So if Trump cuts the budget, maybe he'll cut that budget off. We're going to find out. Anyway, so that's what's going on today, 25 September. In 5 days, we may see the government shut down. Trump may actually have the stones below the belt to do this. We're going to find out. Let's see if he has the stones below the belt to stop those who are censoring the people who are trying to save his life. So far, let's see, he started, 4, 8, 9 years ago. He hasn't had the stones to stop the censoring. We're going to find out if he has the stones to stop the censoring. Jim Jordan, the walking, talking demon. I saw him walk like this one day. We all saw it. The guy's a demon. It's in your face. You can't contact him. And even if you got within 100 feet of him, if you're with God, he will run. Like the generals on Fort Lewis who invited me into the satanic cult to kill children. Like the chief Catholic or bishop on Fort Lewis, they run. Jim Jordan, they run. Oh no, they're aliens. Then why do they run in the name of Yeshua? That's all I want to know. Why do these people run? Anyway, we're running out of time. We don't want to use up your whole day with philosophy. Anyway, but it's very important that you understand it. God bless. Thank you very much, and we will see you bright and early tomorrow morning.